when you clearly don't work somewhere, but people seem to think you do. Welcome to this episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. Our first one is from Charred Debris. Was wandering through a different brand of big box hardware store as I'm spending the weekend away from home for work and heard the wind up of the turbo for a Bitch-O-Matic 5000. The growing in loudness,
I can't believe how unhelpful everyone is. Why people won't do their jobs. How hard is it to blah blah blah,
etc. Normally, this would be my cue to nope out of the area, but I don't have anything better to do. I casually walked by to see what the actual F was going on, and this woman with a cart loaded up with flooring tiles is complaining to this young lady, who might have been 85 pounds soaking wet, about her not taking the woman's cart out to her car and loading it in. The young woman is trying to tell her that she will call someone over to help, but the Karen is not listening. I'm pretty much free to do whatever I want, so I asked her if I could help. Karen refuses and starts to insist that it's this poor girl's problem. I mentioned that I don't mind helping, and as long as it gets done, why would she care who does it? Cue angry,
I can do it.
She pushed her crap out the door, and as I drove away, she was unloading her own shit into her own car, just like a normal person. And I still don't work there. It almost seems like that Karen just set out to make everybody's day that she encountered as insufferable as her every single day existence. But I'm glad that she ended up loading up her own stuff just like a normal person. This next one is by Riker557118. Just found out about this sub. Thought I'd share a story that happened to me a few years ago during the start of COVID restrictions. So the first round of the 15 days to slow the spread had just started, where only essential services were opened. Well, I happened to be considered as such, so I was still commuting to work. Did enjoy the couple of weeks of no traffic, and on one of these days I needed to get gas. Now, at the time, I was in one of the 2 states in the US where you're not legally allowed to pump your own gas. But no one figured out how to socially distance the attendants, so for the most part, people were pumping their own gas. One morning, I had pulled in to fill up after shift, and this lady pulls up to the pump behind me and just sits there in her car, and after a few seconds, starts honking. Looking around and seeing that there was no immediate danger, I continued to ignore her. That apparently wasn't sitting well with her, and she stuck her head out the window to expel the most nasally,
"Well, I'm waiting,"
I ever heard. Not seeing any attendant nearby, just replied with, "Well, you're going to be waiting a while." This sent the lady off into a tirade of ranting that, well, I didn't catch most of it because I have a biological advantage most people lack in dealing with annoying things. I'm deaf in one ear and directed it in her direction, until I had to hang the nozzle back up when I caught that Pete Karen phrase,
"I want to speak to your manager."
At this point, I'm about ready to get back into my vehicle and drive off when a bit of malicious compliance kicks in, and I gave her my supervisor's phone number, where I work, and drive off. Next shift starts up at my job, and the pre-shift work brief meeting goes off fine, until at the end of it, my supervisor ends it with, "Oh, and Riker 557118, why did I get a call from an unhinged lady as I was trying to go to sleep about pumping gas? How do you know that I had anything to do with that? Who else could make a complete stranger that angry and then send them after their unaware and undeserving boss?" Fair point. Okay, here's what happened. Retold the story. We all had a laugh and went on with our shift. I get that if you live somewhere where you're not used to pumping your own gas, sure, you're gonna stand there and wait, but if you actually see somebody else pumping gas, nobody else around, nobody coming to attend to you, I would think that at some point you would get the hint and realize maybe you should do it yourself. You gotta love the Karens though that feel entitled to everything. And our final one is from Drew Bask Adam. This happened a little over 22 years ago. I was telling the story and they recommended I post it here. I went into labor with my daughter at about 2 a.m. After getting my husband up to go, a story in itself, we get to the hospital and everything is going as planned. I called my mom at about 10 and let her know the baby is on the way. She is all excited and says she'll leave for work and was there in about an hour. Things are going okay, but took a turn during pushing. Baby had the cord wrapped around her neck and was one push from being a C-section. The OB was calling out for different things and my mom was up by the head of the bed trying to keep me from realizing how bad it was going. The OB asked for something again. Finally, he makes eye contact with my mom and goes, "Nurse, I need whatever it was." My mom yells back, "I am a nurse, but not your nurse. I am her mother." To be fair, she did come from the doctor's office that she worked at, and still had her scrubs on, and it was pretty hectic. I managed not to have a C-section, and now my daughter is a nurse. We still tease my mom about this. I'm glad it seemed in the situation everything ended up working out well. However, in the hectic of the entire thing, I could definitely understand the doctor maybe getting confused. Maybe he thought your mom was his nurse. I don't know, but just hypothetically, what if that was on Halloween and that was just a costume? I'm hoping they got things together enough and actually had the proper nurse and the proper doctor in the proper rooms at the proper times. Alright, that's enough stories for the day. Well, that wraps up this episode of I Don't Work Here, Lady. If you liked the video, please drop a like, share my content on all of your social media, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure to hit that bell so you're notified every time I upload, and drop a comment down below. It really helps with the algorithm and helps new people find my channel. Thanks for watching, thanks to my patrons, have a great day and stay safe out there.